Hi, my name's Mike Helke, Assistant Director of Admissions for Michigan Engineering. I wish you could be on campus right now, but in lieu of your visit, hopefully you can learn a few things about our campus through this presentation. We're going to spend the next few minutes talking about what it's like to be a student here, how to apply to Michigan Engineering, and of course what we're looking for in an application. And what better place to start this conversation than Ann Arbor, Michigan. It's a beautiful place to live and a great place to learn as well. We're a community of about 120,000 people in Southeast Michigan, about 45 miles west of Detroit. You should come visit us when you get the chance. If you're interested in rankings, U.S. News & World Report calls us the number 6 College of Engineering inside the number 3 public university. U.S. News also ranks some of our different academic departments. You'll see our 17 majors on your screen now. Not all of them have rankings, as you'll notice. That's because U.S. News doesn't rank every program that we have to offer. But I want you to consider more than just these rankings when you're thinking about where you might want to attend a university. For example, if you were to write your Why Michigan essay and say, I want to attend the University of Michigan because they have the number 2 environmental engineering program, we're going to think you probably need a better reason than that. So think about what are the unique qualities that attract you to a place like this. Speaking of which, the next thing we're going to talk about is what it means to be a Michigan engineer. Here's the thing, when you complete your application, you're applying directly to the College of Engineering at the University of Michigan. That means that you know that you'll be an engineering student for all 4 years that you're here on campus. Your first year, you're going to have a fairly common curriculum. You'll take a math class like Calc 1, Calc 2, Calc 3, maybe differential equations. You'll take a science class like Physics 1, Physics 2, or Chemistry. You might take an elective if you have some room for another class. You'll also take 2 specific engineering classes in your first year. Engine 101 is a computer programming class. C++, MATLAB, that sort of thing. In Engine 100, the idea there is design, build, and test. So you'll be able to get your hands dirty in real engineering design starting right away in your first year. At the end of your first year, as long as your grades are good, you can declare whichever of our 17 majors that you're interested in. Now that we've talked about inside of the classroom, let's spend a second talking about what you can do outside of the classroom. One of my favorite places on campus is called the Wilson Center. The Wilson Center is where all of our project teams are housed. So these are 100% student-built, student-led, student-driven project teams. So it's your goal to come onto campus and continue these traditions. For example, we've got the Concrete Canoe, which is a canoe made out of concrete. It floats on most days. We've got MFly. You can build small aircraft and fly them around. We've got the human-powered submarine, which again is pretty self-explanatory. And these are all things that you can build as a student here on campus. Maybe you're interested in research while you're in college. The University of Michigan spends about $1.5 billion a year on research. That's more than any other public university. And if you're interested in getting engaged in research as a student, you have the ability to do that too, through UROP. UROP is the Undergraduate Research Opportunity Program. So think of UROP as a middleman. Let's say I'm a first-year student on campus, and I want to get engaged in research somehow. I just don't really know how to do that. Maybe there's a professor somewhere in the College of Engineering who could really use my help. UROP is going to place me directly into that research experience. I might get paid, I might get academic credit for the research that I do, and maybe I'll even get published as a contributor. In addition to research opportunities, maybe you're thinking that you want to have an international experience while you're in college. You can do that through the College of Engineering. We have an entire office dedicated to international programs called IPE, or International Programs in Engineering. The reason that we like to say international programs because it's not always study abroad. If you want to do the traditional study abroad, you can do that. You can study aerospace engineering in France. You can study mechanical engineering in Hong Kong. You can study circuits in Australia. And that credit comes back toward your engineering degree. But sometimes you'll have an internship abroad or other experiences abroad that don't involve studying. So now we've reached a pretty exciting part of the presentation where we get to talk about what happens after you graduate from Michigan Engineering. We poll our students every year, and this is what they told us this past year. We found that about 97% of our students are either employed or in continuing education following graduation. The average starting salary for a Michigan engineer is just about $83,000, which is not bad for a 21-year-old with a bachelor's degree. And here's the thing, we have about 6,000 undergraduate students in the College of Engineering. Last year we had over 4,000 on-campus interviews, conducted by about 450 different companies. So these are companies coming to the University of Michigan, specifically to interview Michigan engineers like you. It's an exciting opportunity. After graduation, these are some of the most popular places where our students are employed. Amazon hired more of our students last year than any other company, followed by GM, Microsoft, and Ford, and all the way down to Cummins at number 19. So now that we've talked about what it's like to be a Michigan engineering student, and we've talked about what it's like to be an alum, now we have to talk about what it's like to apply and to get that acceptance letter from the University of Michigan. We'll start off pretty easy, just with some deadlines. The application will open up to seniors on August 1st. Seniors, you have from August 1st through November 1st to apply in what we call the early action window. If you apply by November 1st and get all of your application materials into us by that date, we'll get you a decision in the middle of December. Early action is non-binding and non-restrictive. That means you can apply to any other university that you want to, and you're never obligated to attend the University of Michigan if you don't want to. No matter when you get that acceptance letter, you have until May 1st to decide whether or not you want to enroll at Michigan. If you decide not to apply in the early action window, you can apply anytime between November 2nd and February 1st. February 1st is the final date by which you can apply to the University of Michigan. If you apply in that regular decision window, you'll get your decision sometime by early April. You don't know exactly when you're going to get that decision. We call it modified rolling admission. We'll release your decision anytime between the moment you apply and early April. We use 2 applications, the Common Application and the Coalition Application. We don't have a preference for which one you send, but please only send one application. And the last thing I want to talk about is the way we actually look at your application. The University of Michigan utilizes what we call a holistic review process. That means that we're looking at a lot more than just your GPA and your test scores. For example, one of the first things we want to understand is what high school did you go to, and did you challenge yourself relative to the rigor that was offered to you at your high school? Some of you are attending a high school that offers 25 AP courses. Hopefully you've taken some of them. Maybe you're in a high school in the middle of a cornfield somewhere. You don't have any APs available to you. That's fine. Maybe you're in dual enrollment classes, ACE classes. Maybe you're taking A-levels or O-levels. Maybe you're just taking honors classes. Whatever types of classes you're taking, we just want to understand the educational environment that you're coming from. Within that context, then we want to look at your grades. It's not going to be a surprise to you at all that most students who get into college get A's and B's on their transcript. So when we look at your GPA, we're looking at an unweighted GPA. That means no extra credit onto your GPA for any APs or honors, pluses or minuses. Any A that you received in any class is a 4.0. Any B that you received in any class is a 3.0, and on down the line. Well, wait a second, maybe you're thinking that's not fair, right? Because you took a lot of really tough classes, and now your GPA unweighted is going to look like a 3.6. And you have a neighbor who never took a difficult class in their life, and they have a 3.9 GPA. Do you think we're going to notice the difference when we're reviewing your application? Of course we will. That's the reason that real human beings will read your application. So it's not just about the numbers, it's, like I said before, did you challenge yourself and did you achieve in those tough classes? Now let's take a second to talk about your exam scores. We accept both the ACT and the SAT. We only need one exam to make a decision, but please feel free to send in any exams that you've taken. We don't require the SAT-2 or subject exams. If you happen to have an existing SAT-2, you can send it in and we'll call it supplemental information, but it's not required as part of your application. The middle 50% of admitted students had the exam scores that you see on the screen now. That means that 25% of admitted students had above and 25% of admitted students had below the exam scores on the slide. We also want to know what's going on in your life after 3 o'clock. That's what we're going to call your involvement. More than anything, we're looking for leadership. Some of you are in clubs or organizations. Some of you play sports. Maybe you take care of the house while your parents work nights. Maybe there's a hobby that you're really invested in. Leadership can manifest itself in all of those things and more. So talk to us about whatever's going on in your life after 3 o'clock. Next, let's talk about your letter of recommendation. We require one letter of recommendation from an academic teacher. That means English, math, science, social studies, or foreign language. If you feel really strongly that somebody else in your life has something important to say about your candidacy, please feel free to send in more than one letter of recommendation, but remember that only one is required, and one is honestly what we would prefer to see. Finally, let's talk about your application essays. Your essays are your only opportunity to talk about yourself in your own words, so really take advantage of that. There are 3 essays that are part of your application. The first has several prompts, and you can choose whichever one you like. The second essay is a community that you see yourself as a part of, and how can that lend itself to the greater campus community. The third essay is Why Michigan? And I want you to think specifically about why the University of Michigan and why you. Why would we be a better university with you as a student here, as opposed to without you as a student? What are the unique qualities that attract you to apply to this institution? Maybe there's a professor that you want to work with. Maybe you're interested in the interdisciplinary opportunities that exist at Michigan Engineering. Whatever it is, make sure you're specific about this school and your needs. I hope you enjoyed this brief look at Michigan Engineering. I'm looking forward to seeing you on campus sometime soon. Have a great day and go blue.